Greetings and welcome to the Office of Research and Sponsors Program's How to Develop Budgets workshop. Today's presenters will be Maral Kosmichian, Grants Manager with ORSP, and myself, Judy Gangbin, Grants Manager with ORSP. The goal of this workshop is to give faculty and staff a brief overview of how budget development works. We'll cover topics such as budget categories and budget justification, as well as financial management. So where do you start? Our team encourages faculty to reach out to their grants manager to discuss budget preparation and development. During this meeting, we typically discuss project and research activities, a timeline, key personnel and staff, student involvement, any collaborators, travel, or other direct costs associated with the project. Throughout the discussion, a draft internal line item budget is developed. This collaborative discussion is an important first step in the grant preparation process.
We will be discussing the most utilized budget categories in this presentation. However, each project is unique and has specific budgetary needs. Personnel costs are normally the largest expenditure in a budget, includes fringe benefit cost. Other categories include equipment, travel, participant and trainee support, and other direct costs including materials and supplies, consultants, and sub-awardees, and the appropriate indirect cost, also known as overhead costs or F&A, facilities and administrative costs, for the project is based on the specific funding source. Budgets are developed per the proposal guidelines. Grant managers utilize an internal budget spreadsheet to create your budget. Once this budget is finalized, we transfer this information into the specific budget template required by the funding agency. After each budget category discussion, we're going to introduce you to a specific area where we enter this information in our budget spreadsheets. Your assigned grants manager will prepare these budgets in consultation with you. Senior key personnel cost includes your time and effort as the principal investigator on the project, as well as all co-investigators and key faculty personnel's time and effort. We calculate effort based on your scope of work and your needs to complete your deliverables. Based on the grant and contract guidelines, we can dispense effort the following ways. You can be released from your course workload to complete your project. This is called academic year release. We calculate your salary based on your 9-month appointment and the effort based on the weighted course units you would like to be released from. Your department chair must approve the academic year release before we can budget this amount. We can also receive up to 25% overload pay per calendar year. We calculate effort based on your 9-month salary and translate the cost into an hourly rate. Federal funding sources do not allow overload pay. We can only dispense this type of pay if the funding source is from a state or private funding opportunity that allows it. Summer pay is calculated for the 3 summer months that the faculty are not under contract. The cost is adjusted, is higher than your 9-month contract salary rate. We can also dispense stipends if allowed and appropriate. For multi-year projects, we do adjust for general salary increases as well as step increases. This first section of the internal budget spreadsheet is dedicated to personnel cost. In this example, Dr. Smith, who is the principal investigator, would like to be released from 1 course per year, which translate into 3 weighted units, 10% of their effort, 0.9 person months of their workload, which is highlighted here in green. We do calculate person months automatically, as most funding agencies requires this information in their budget narratives. The calculations are based on Dr. Smith's academic year salary, which is at $78,000, which is in a red arrow. If Dr. Smith requested overload pay or summer pay, we will use the hourly rate or the non-academic summer rate to calculate this cost. As you can see, there's an escalation built for year 2 and year 3 of the project. If the budgets need to include co-investigators or other faculty personnel, their information will be entered here as well.
Aside from senior personnel, budgets may also include other personnel such as technicians, specialized staff, clerical staff, or postdocs. This can be new staff or existing staff. However, this section is for Fresno State personnel only. During the budget discussion with your grants manager, we'll discuss salary and effort for these staff members, how much time your personnel will commit to the project, what their hourly rate will be, and whether or not this is new or existing personnel. This snapshot of the other personnel section from the internal budget demonstrates what will be included in the section. As you can see, Project Director Jones has a calendar year salary of $60,000, and his PI has dedicated 20% of his time on the project, which is 2.4 person months. That information is circled in green. So overall, Project Director Jones will have a budget allocation of about $12,000 in year one for the project. Other personnel that will be discussed during a meeting with your grants manager relates to student involvement. This can be undergraduate students and/or graduate students. However, again, this only relates to Fresno State students. The maximum number of hours per week during the academic year is 20 hours, and the maximum number of hours per week during the non-academic year is 40 hours. Students can be paid hourly or receive a flat fee stipend. The amount paid to students varies and often depends on the type of work being completed. Lastly, it's important to note that this type of personnel is receiving funds for a living wage. Students have to engage in the project work and activities. As you can see here, we have a graduate student research assistant, which is circled in the blue, and this research assistant is being paid $17 an hour for 20 hours a week at 20 weeks per year, which is circled in green for the academic year. As for the non-academic year, the summer months, they're being paid the same amount, but they've maxed out at their 40 hours per week for 10 weeks out of that summer month. This is a good example of what you'll discuss with your grants manager during a meeting if there's student involvement.
Fringe benefits include all mandated federal and state local payroll taxes, such as FICA, workers' compensation, unemployment insurance, and Medicare. Additional benefits for salaried employees include health, vision, dental, life insurance, and retirement. We use actual fringe rates to calculate benefit costs associated with the release time. For summer and stipend pay, as well as student assistant pay, we use the general fringe rates that are determined by the foundation and updated yearly. In our budget spreadsheet for Dr. Smith, which is highlighted in blue right now, we entered their actual fringe rate at 78% for the proposed release time cost. For the overload and summer pay, the rate is at the predetermined rate of 10%. For Director Jones, we use their actual fringe rate of 4% as they are salaried employees, and the student rate is capped at 2.23%. As discussed, these rates are subject to change, and your grant managers have the most up-to-date information. Equipment means tangible personal property, including information technology systems, having a useful life of more than 1 year, a per unit acquisition cost which equals or exceeds $5,000. Equipment is a specialized category and must be necessary to the research allowed under the guidelines. We will need to determine if we need to coordinate with our facilities team for locating space for the equipment and identify the installation costs. This process can be lengthy and will involve your department chair and dean. For the proposal, we will need to itemize quote that includes the description and cost for each item and must include shipping, installation, and maintenance cost. In the budget spreadsheet, we will enter each item separately and break down costs yearly if needed, as you can see with the red arrow. If you have items that are less than $5,000, we will enter this information under direct costs, materials, and supplies. Equipment costs receive certain exemptions and will need to be itemized separately.
Grant budgets can often include travel costs if the sponsor allows. This can be local, domestic, or international travel. During your grants manager meeting, you'll discuss airfare, lodging, mileage, transportation, conference registration, and per diem related to your travel. Standard state rates are used unless otherwise noted by the RFP, and current rates are subject to change. In our spreadsheet, you'll see that we have local and conference travel separated. Under local travel, where the red arrow is pointing, we'll have a mileage rate and the number of miles you anticipate to travel for local travel. Whereas for conference, we get more detailed with a destination as well as airfare, registration, per diem, and hotel. This is all discussed during your grants manager meeting, so just be sure to know if there's any type of travel, whether domestic, local, or international, that you would like to include if allowed.
Participant and trainee support costs means direct costs for items such as stipends, subsistence allowances, travel allowances, and registration fees paid to or on behalf of participants or trainees, but not employees, in connection with conferences or training projects. Participant support costs must be incurred within the period of performance of the project and be specifically allowed by the sponsoring agency. If your research study involves incentives for your participants for completing surveys or participating in your study, the costs associated with participant incentives will be itemized here as well. In the budget spreadsheet, you will itemize these participant costs, including stipend, travel, and subsistence. The other category can include tuition fees and other costs associated with participants. The costs are calculated per participant. If needed, escalations can be built for the multi-year projects.
The other direct support budget category includes costs that have not already been categorized or itemized. This can include materials, supplies, publication costs, software, vendor services, translation, transcribing, rental fees, as well as other things already not itemized. In addition, subawards and contracts, as well as consultants, will fall under this budget category. Subawards are defined as entities conducting part of the scope of work or providing goods or services, whereas consultants are defined as providing specific subject matter expertise. Your grants manager will help determine whether an entity is considered a subaward or consultant. Under this section in the internal budget sheet, you'll see highlighted in green the material supplies, publication cost, computer software section. We will gather a description from PI and co-PI and determine a calculation, and the internal budget sheet will automatically populate figures, whereas highlighted in blue is any type of subaward contractual cost associated with your project.
Indirect costs represent the expenses of doing business that are not readily identified with a particular grant, contract, project, function, or activity, but are necessary for the general operation of the organization and the conduct of activities it performs. The rates for indirect costs are per agency and specific, and they're specific by the guidelines published. The indirect costs recovered are used to cover startup packages for new faculty, lights, water, AC, rent costs, liability insurance and risk assessment fees, costs for fiscal management and oversight, and all other unallocable costs. Participant costs, equipment, and some portion of the subcontracts are not allowable costs towards indirect. Your grant managers will review and utilize the correct rate needed for your proposal. In the budget spreadsheet, with the red arrow, as you can see, we will enter the rates as a percentage and charge against the modified total direct cost, which is the adjusted direct cost that does not include participant costs, equipment, and some portion of the subcontracts, which is highlighted in blue here.
Most times, sponsors will request a budget narrative or justification be submitted with the proposal. A budget narrative is a brief categorical description of the proposed cost. This document should provide the rationale and justification for proposed expenditures. ORSP encourages faculty to have a budget narrative mirror the line item budget as well as the proposal narrative. Reviewers should not be surprised to find additional costs in your budget justification. For example, if a senior personnel is budgeted for 10% effort per semester during an academic year, then applicants need to explain what the senior personnel is doing, implementing, and working on. How does his commitment connect to broad project goals and activities? It's important to note that each sponsor may have specific requirements for the budget narrative. For example, the length of the budget narrative may be capped at 1 page, or perhaps the sponsor requires the applicant to use a specific template. Again, ORSP encourages faculty to read the guidelines thoroughly to determine sponsors' guidelines.
Your budget is created based on your scope of work and deliverables. Cutting costs will not make your proposal more competitive. In fact, reviewers will deduct points for underdeveloped budgets. Similarly, you should not pad budgets. Your budget needs to be comprehensive, and each cost needs to be justifiable. Indirect costs are part of grant funding, does not have any impact on the success of an application. Sponsor guidelines will provide direction. You should not make unnecessary cost-sharing commitments, and always familiarize yourself with sponsor-specific preferences and adhere to those requirements.
The next few slides will speak briefly on award management. All successful proposals are managed by California State University Fresno Foundation. CSU Fresno Foundation serves as the university's fiscal agent. Each college has an assigned post-award analyst to support grant management. Although ORSP is considered pre-award, our office collaborates with the foundation across the grant life cycle. As mentioned, all successful proposals are managed by the foundation, and project files are forwarded to respective post-award analysts. The post-award analyst will set up an account and prepare a cost center that reflects the approved line item budget. Other financial services provided by the foundation will include providing fiscal accounting services during various monthly financial reporting, facilitate payroll, review expenditures, prepare and submit invoices. They act as a liaison between the PI and the funder. They help to prepare, submit required fiscal reports, as well as any type of other budget matters that may come up during the life of the grant cycle. In addition, they do help with programmatic reporting responsibilities, as well as close out the grant. To learn more about other responsibilities for post-award, please watch the Getting Started with Grants workshop for more information.
As Judy discussed, there are 4 post-award analysts at the California State University Fresno Foundation. Each of their portfolio are broken down by colleges in specific divisions. Once your grant contract is awarded, these individuals, under the direction of the post-award manager, will provide fiscal oversight for your projects. The staffing information listed here is subject to change, and the information will be updated as needed. The RSP office under the Division of Research and Graduate Studies, Dr. Joyce Marshall is the Dean and authorized organizational representative of the university. As the Chief Research Officer, he approves all submissions on behalf of the university. Similar to the foundation, the Research and Sponsor Programs Office has 3 grant managers, Gail Sherwood, Judy Gangman, and Maral Kismayan, and they are responsible for managing the grant and contract portfolio for specific colleges and divisions, under the direction of their director, Doug Carey. Our compliance officer, Svetlana Baldasarov, is responsible for all compliance activity, including conflicts of interest, IRB and IACUC approval, and export control. Our support team includes Edgar Perea as our analyst, Kim Camarena, our coordinator, and Melanie Leon as our student assistant.
ORSP encourages faculty to schedule a one-on-one consultation with your grants manager to discuss projects and research ideas, ask questions about budget preparation, or just learn more about our office. This is a great way for you to learn more about our activities within our office, but also start to build a working relationship with your grants manager. If you are interested in applying for a grant, we encourage you to complete the intent to apply online form, which is highlighted on the bottom of this slide. It's a simple form with brief information about your grant application and any deadlines associated with that, and a grants manager will reach out to you to schedule a one-on-one to discuss those details. Also, we would like to encourage you to follow us on Twitter. We have a Twitter page at Fresno State RSP, which routinely has information about activities going on campus or in the community related to research and grants on campus. We also have an ORSP monthly newsletter, which really details more information about any type of grant activity going on campus, and also will highlight faculty on campus, any type of funding opportunities that our office is aware of, as well as any type of compliance-related topics that our compliance officer likes to note within the newsletter. We thank you for participating, and we encourage you to reach out to your grants manager for any additional guidance or information. Thank you.